What's going on, everyone? So there is a lot of talk and questions about like what is LeBron going to do this offseason? Is he really going to leave the Lakers? Is he going to go to, a team like the Philadelphia 76ers? There's talks about him like taking the vet minimum and going and playing with Phoenix or what. I do not believe that. Like I would be shocked if LeBron leaves the Lakers. I don't believe LeBron is going to leave the Lakers. I would be shocked if LeBron left the Lakers. I would be like floored. Like, I don't even know if there's a word for the way I would be if he took a vet minimum. A guy that just is still an all NBA talent, is still a top, 10 to 12 player in the league, playing for a vet minimum. Like LeBron's heavily about his legacy and very about like, his ranking amongst the greats. That would be just a real slight, I think, on his career if he was to do something like that. And then especially if like they lost, that would be awful for LeBron. But I do think a team like Philadelphia makes a lot of sense because they could give him the max. You're in the weak East, right? I think that him, Maxey, and Joel Embiid would form quite the roster. I think also Maxey and Joel Embiid would kind of allow LeBron to kind of coast the way that he wants to in the regular season and not put as much pressure on LeBron James to be great during the regular season. Right? If he was to do something like that, again, I'd be surprised if he left the Lakers, but I can understand. Right? I could get it. You want to win. Philly probably gives you the best option to win. I mean, obviously it depends on what the Lakers do in the offseason and type of trades or moves or whatever. But, just on the surface right now, right? You look at, okay, Philly with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, or the Lakers with Anthony Davis, D'Angelo Russell, and Austin Reeves. It to me, it's kind of like, okay, if you want to win, go to Philly. But the thing is, like, I don't think LeBron ever came to the Lakers solely for winning, period. Right? Because at the time he came to the Lakers, there was several teams that just made more sense if he just only wanted to win. Right? He came to the Lakers for business. His family wanted to be here. His kids wanted school here. Right? Like he was looking at life post basketball. Obviously, he wants to win. Obviously, we won an NBA championship, but I don't think it was just solely I only want to win and nothing more, nothing less. Right? Because again, I just think that there were better options he could have went to and put himself in a better position to win if he wanted to do that. But nonetheless, this Lakers offseason has just been a disaster so far, right? I mean, with the whole coaching going on. Now, obviously, if JJ Redick ends up getting hired, like that's LeBron's guy, I think that's even more of a signal that LeBron ends up staying. But like, there's talks about, James Borrego and how he's Anthony Davis's guy. Hey, and LeBron's talked about how like, hey, build around Anthony Davis. This is Anthony Davis's team. You look at like Rich Paul saying and reiterating basically the same thing. Like, hey, don't worry about LeBron and what he's doing. LeBron doesn't want to be involved in the coaching, right? He doesn't want to be involved in the personnel. He wants to kind of stay out of everything. Now, you could argue that that's because he probably is leaving. I don't really think it's that. I just think he understands like, hey, like I'm at the tail end of my career. Right? Like the Lakers need to at some point start looking towards the future and around Anthony Davis. I mean LeBron's been very real. I mean just watch like Mind the Game. He talks heavily about how he's not the same guy he once was. He can't put together the dominant performances that he can. Like, he can in spots and in moments and maybe a game here or there, but he is very aware that he's old and is blessed and lucky to be in the situation that he's in. Right? But the Lakers aren't doing a very good job of just putting themselves in a position for success with or without LeBron, right? And look, we're not better without LeBron. If LeBron leaves, the Lakers are in trouble, right? Because they won't own next year's pick, so it's like you can't even really tank. And I mean, we're barely a play-in team with LeBron, right? Like, what are we going to be without LeBron? It's just, and I know that people like point to, oh, but we won these games without LeBron. It's like, yeah, you can win a game. You can win a couple games. You can win a handful of games, but you're not better without LeBron, right? And it's just like, if you're LeBron and you're being honest, like, he's got to be looking at the organization right now going like, what is happening? Right? It's like, you went after Dan Hurley. You can't get Dan Hurley. It's like, who's going to be the coach? Right now, obviously, like, look, I believe he knows what's going on behind the scenes. I believe that the Lakers are in contact with him. I know he wants to stay out of stuff, but that doesn't mean he's like completely oblivious to everything that's going on. I'm sure that the Lakers are heavily in contact and telling him, like, hey, this is what we're thinking. Or if not him, at least Rich Paul, like, hey, this is what we're thinking. This is what we're going to do. So I really do think that the Lakers are going to hire JJ Redick. I think the reason the Lakers haven't hired a head coach is because of, the NBA Finals are just waiting on JJ Redick, right? Maybe they hire a coach, right? Like maybe while you're watching this video, the coach has already happened. But at least at the time of recording this, Lakers don't have a coach. And, they miss out on Dan Hurley. And it's like, okay, like unless it really is JJ Redick and LeBron's already in the know, he's got to be looking at this going like, man, this is an absolute mess. Now, again, there's other things that could kind of turn the table for not just LeBron, but the Lakers also, right? Solely for LeBron would be like if the Lakers did draft Bronny. If the Lakers draft Bronny, then I definitely don't think LeBron's going anywhere. But I don't think that they draft him with number 17. Because, one, I think that they trade the 17th pick. But even if they don't trade the 17th pick, they probably draft, a Zach Edey or, Khalil Ware or whomever, right? But I do think if they draft him at 55, then that basically ensures LeBron is staying. Now, if he's there at 55 and the Lakers don't draft him, then that's a bad sign in my opinion. But there's also the possibility that somebody ends up drafting him before, right? There's possibility that, and I wouldn't be shocked at all. I've talked heavily about how I wouldn't be surprised if one of these teams in the late first end up just snagging him and are like, like, who else are we going to get? What else are we going to do? Right? Or, a team early in the second end up taking him. And it's like, there's not anyone else we're like super high on. Let's take a flyer on Bronny. Because even if LeBron doesn't go, like just from a financial standpoint, Bronny makes a lot of sense. Like the amount of money and attention and stuff that Bronny would bring to whatever organization, there's an incentive to just draft him, period. But I do think like obviously Bronny would be an incentive for LeBron to stick around. And then, I mean, in the offseason, right? Like if the Lakers go and they end up trading, for, I don't know, let's say they trade for DeJounte Murray and Alex Caruso. Again, just an example, right? But like, let's say they do pull off some big swing, some big move, right? And like LeBron, I could see him go, okay, there we go. Like, let's go. Right now I got, whatever. I got DeJounte, Reeves, Caruso, me, and Anthony Davis. Like that's a good enough starting five I can win a championship with. Right, and then you round out the bench and everything else, right? And so, again, I do think, depending on what they do in free agency, depending on what they do during the draft, depending on what they do during the trade market, because I do think the Lakers are going to be active on the trade market, and how this team and roster shapes up, I do think LeBron sticks around, right? And I do think that, like, I believe he wants to stay. I believe that he will stay, but I also think, like, if this, again, if this becomes a disaster and, the Lakers don't draft Bronny and they end up, bringing in a head coach that's like, because look, James Borrego could end up going to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Supposedly JJ Redick no longer wants the job. If that's true, right? Sam Cassell and some of these other guys, they end up like, we might look back and go, man, like, who's going to be the head coach, right? It could end up being, Frank Vogel again or something like that. And the LeBron's like, what are we doing, right? And the Lakers don't make any moves, and like maybe they just lose D'Lo, and then like there is a clear reality. Hopefully it's not this reality. Hopefully it's an alternative reality. But there's a clear reality where this offseason is a total disaster. And we don't get any upgrades, and we end up having to like have like maybe a 1-year head coach just to like in passing or something like that, right? And LeBron leaves and all. Like there is a real possibility where this could just be like what is happening, right? Again, I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that that's not the case. I don't believe it'll happen. Again, I still really believe JJ Redick's going to end up being the head coach. I think if the Lakers can swing and get Bronny, they'll swing and get Bronny. I think LeBron is going to re-sign. I think he'll sign, a 1+1 again or another 2+1, and just ride it out a little longer or work with the Suns, especially if they get Bronny. Like, if the Lakers figure out a way to draft Bronny, then that signals for sure LeBron staying. Even if they don't get Bronny, I still think LeBron stays. I don't think he goes anywhere. The only, real threat that I see to take LeBron is Philly, right? So, unless LeBron wants to go to Philly, I'm not really worried about anyone else. I'm not. Now, again, I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. It happens. But I think LeBron sticks around. I think he re-ups. I think the Lakers are going to end up finding a head coach, or they already know who their head coach is. There were reports that James Borrego is in the lead now, but it's just the reports are all over the place with everything. We'll see. But ultimately, if we're being honest, LeBron's got to be looking at this with some level of concern, right? If you're LeBron, you got to be like, what is going on here, right? What is happening? Right? You can't be happy about the situation that's at hand. But I think it'll work out. I think it'll be okay. But anyway, just something I wanted to talk about. As always, this is a discussion. Pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think if I'm LeBron, I'm getting out of here? Do you think nah, LeBron's not going anywhere. He's going to stick around. Again, how do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are. Love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. It's me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.